Alright guys, in this video we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5. And I know we've been talking about the PlayStation 5 pretty much non-stop here on the channel, but I'm in the same boat as most of you. I am eagerly anticipating Sony saying something, hopefully soon, hopefully, but there has been some interesting conversation going on recently that I kind of wanted to just talk about here and give my opinion on. And I'm not going to lie, there may be a little bit of ranting in this video, but I know that some of you like that. But I really wanted to take some time to talk about this because Microsoft dropped some pretty big news recently about the Xbox Series, that being the specifications, more specifically the 12 Tflop number in RDNA 2 architecture, which I have to start out this video by saying this, even though I've already said it a few times now. In fact, you can actually watch a video I made like 2 or 3 days ago at this point where I talked about Microsoft dropping this news, and it's a great thing. I have to say this because I know inevitably there's going to be some people who come to this video and want to leave certain comments trying to depict something that's just simply not true, or just basically claim something that's not true. And that is that I'm trying to trash Xbox or its fans, or I'm trying to downplay what Microsoft is doing. Absolutely not. In fact, I would honestly argue that the majority of this video is not so much going to be focused on anything that Xbox is doing wrong or doing badly, because as of right now, they're doing everything right, in my opinion. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to say in the beginning here, is that I think what Microsoft is doing with the way they're announcing their console is great. Like, they're actually building genuine excitement, and that excitement stems from them just ensuring that they maybe not be doing it in the most, extravagant way, but they're just getting right to it and saying, look, we have this console. It's an extremely powerful console. It's going to be a state-of-the-art cutting-edge console, and if you're excited about that, look forward to it. If you're excited about future games, look forward to them. And they're trying to just do everything right this time and have the exact opposite approach that they had with the Xbox One, which is fantastic. Obviously, the big thing I'm waiting for is E3 to see what games they reveal, because I honestly believe that this E3 for Microsoft, considering the momentum they're building going into it with the Xbox Series, is going to be a make or break situation for them, where there's a lot of people who are already very excited, but the thing that's really going to push them over the edge, and in my opinion give them a really successful start to next gen, is going to be delivering those games that are really going to get people excited to the next level. And they have a pretty solid lineup for 2020 and going forward as well. But I think you guys understand what I mean. Now, why am I saying this in the beginning? Well, it's because I want to now talk about the PlayStation 5 and kind of just take some time here to acknowledge the narrative that is currently being written, which unfortunately Sony is making it extremely easy for this narrative to be written up and for people to kind of start running with this, and that is that Sony is not going to have a powerful next generation console. Now, I know a lot of you, or at least some of you I should say, are going to kind of push back on me and say, MBG, you're a hypocrite. You say power doesn't matter one day, and then the next day you're talking about power. I honestly feel like I've made my stance pretty clear. Like, I don't really know how else I can make it more clear for people. My stance is power does matter, yes. When you're talking about a next generation upgrade, it does matter. When you're somebody who's going to go out there and upgrade to a new console, you want to know it's going to be powerful. You want to know it's going to be definitely way more powerful than what you're currently playing on. That's why power does matter. And that's why, to me, when I hear people talk about which console is going to be more powerful, I will admit it's an extremely interesting conversation. That's why I have the conversation. That's why I talk about it. And it's always interesting to see the tug of war and the back and forth, right? But at the end of the day, as long as both console manufacturers are trying their best to put out what we would consider a next generation leap, right, a significant leap forward, I think that's all that's going to matter at the end of the day to 99% of gamers. Really, I firmly believe that. As we know now, Microsoft is certainly doing that. There's absolutely no doubt that what you're getting with the Xbox Series is a very significant leap forward. Very significant. And so I guess what I'm trying to say here is that regardless of the Tflop number we end up getting with the PlayStation 5 when Sony finally does reveal that information, I don't think it's going to matter that much. I mean, if you go watch Digital Foundry, I'm not saying they are the be-all, end-all, but they know what they're talking about, more so than most people. They are out here saying that this time around, it's not so much going to be about the Tflop count. There's going to be a lot of different aspects that pretty much determine, which console is going to have the edge in different areas. Like a good example is the SSD that we're hearing about being inside the PlayStation 5. Could a much more efficient or much more better performing SSD, could that outweigh having an extra Tflop? It could be possible, yeah. I mean, it really depends on what we end up seeing in real time, like in actual practice, right? And I'm not trying to make this like, even if the PS5 is less powerful, it's still going to be better than the Xbox Series. That's not what this video is about. It's just more about making people understand that the point is, when it comes to these consoles, both of them are going to be a next generation leap. They're going to be a significant leap forward. Could the Xbox Series end up being a little bit further out than the PS5? A little bit more of a leap forward? Yeah, it could be. It could be. But does that suddenly mean that we're going to get terrible looking games on the PS5? That suddenly the PS5 is not going to be able to compete? Absolutely not. Now, I will say, the only scenario in which I think Sony could maybe find themselves in a bad position, and I highly doubt this would happen, but this is the only scenario I can think of, is if we find out that maybe all of the rumors are true when it comes to the PS5 being 9.2 Tflops, which will be on next-gen architecture. There's no way it won't be. There's absolutely no way it won't be, so don't worry about that. But it's going to be 9.2 Tflops compared to the 12 Tflops that the Xbox Series is going to offer. The only time I could see that being a actual bad thing for Sony is if for some reason both of these consoles are priced at the same price point, at $500. Because you look at the Series console and you realize that, $500, that's a great price for that. And maybe it would also be a realistic price point for what Sony could offer if they were to have a 9.2 Tflop machine. However, it's not going to look good. It's really not. I mean, at that point, you're basically telling people, look, we have the less powerful machine when it comes to just like pure Tflops, but we're going to price it the same. That's the only time I could see Sony really putting themselves in a bad position, but I don't think that's likely. I do think if we are in a situation where the PS5 does end up being less powerful than the Xbox Series, there's a really good chance that Sony's going to try to undercut the price of whatever the Series is going to be. They know that that would be in their best interest, and it would also just look good, right? Like, if people ask, why is this less powerful? Oh, because it's more affordable. Right? Like, it's just basic logic. Like, this is, I have to imagine, the approach Sony's going to take. Is there a chance that the PS5 could end up being on the same level as the Xbox Series? There's a chance. We really don't know. But I've seen a lot of people kind of, again, and when I say people, I'm really referring to toxic fanboys here. Okay, there's a lot of people who say, MBG, you're a toxic fanboy. Listen, I know I've been hard on Xbox in the past, but I've had my reasons. Have you seen me being hard on Xbox lately? No, I haven't. In fact, I feel as though I've been giving credit where credit's due. Microsoft has been doing a much better job, and they're doing a very solid job at building hype going into next gen. And I do believe that Sony is going to do the same thing. I just think they're taking a little bit longer to get to that point. I think they're taking their good old time. I think they have their reasons for doing so. But I think people, and this is the last thing I want to say here and the last thing I want to rant about, I think people forget what it all comes down to. I'm not saying that power doesn't matter. I'm not saying that features don't matter. I'm not saying that performance doesn't matter. All of these things do matter, especially when you consider the entire package, right? I mean, the truth is, when people are looking to invest hundreds of dollars into a new console, they want to know what the whole package offers, right? And for some people, it's the little things that make or break that decision. But for most people, I think it comes down to a few fundamental things. Number one, the games. What games can I get if I buy this machine over the other machine? What games will I get on this machine that I can't get on that machine? That's a question that people ask. Maybe not everybody. I'm not saying it matters to everybody, but it is a question that people ask. And when it comes to the hardcore, the group of individuals that I'm speaking to right now, I'd say for most of you, this is what matters most. The second thing is price. People want to know, how much is this going to cost me? But the third thing, and I think that this goes hand in hand with price, is what is the difference, right? Like, if I'm going to upgrade to this, what is the difference I'm going to see? And that's where the price point plays such a significant role, because if we do see a situation where the PS5 is $400 or $450 and the Series is $500, then yeah, price is going to be a huge determining factor there, where most people are going to go with the cheaper option, but they will ask the question, what is the difference? And if the difference is, well, the Series is more powerful and it will do a few things for games, some things for games, the question is going to become, well, is the difference that noticeable? It's going to be potentially a very similar situation we've seen with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. The truth is the PS4 Pro did so well because it hit that $400 price point. And the thing is, there are certainly some games, like Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of them, where you can see the difference. But the majority of games, and this is the important part, the majority of games, you can't really tell that big of a difference. I'm not taking anything away from the Xbox One X by saying that. That's just the truth. That's how most people operate. And so when you take all of these things into account, I'm not sitting here trying to, damage control a potentially less powerful PS5. I'm not. I'm just trying to be real right now and express to people that if you are genuinely concerned that Sony's not going to have a true next-gen leap forward, you need to calm down and you need to relax and understand that that's not the case at all. Don't listen to what some of these individuals are saying, because they either A, don't know what they're talking about, or B, they're just trying to scare people and make people start to panic because Sony's being quiet, and suddenly that means that we're going to get a PS4 Pro Plus. That's what the PS5 is going to be. It's not. Okay, it's really not. Listen, you've heard a lot of developers talk about these consoles, and the things that these developers are saying line up with, they're similar to one another. They're going to output things in a very similar way. Will the Series possibly have this slight edge in this area? Yeah, but that means the PS5 could have a slight edge in this area. Again, it's not about the Tflops ultimately at the end of the day. I just entertain that conversation here on the channel because, frankly, it's an entertaining one. It's fun to talk about it. But the truth of the matter, when you cut through it all, is that if you're excited for the PlayStation 5, continue to be excited. Don't think for a second that if it has a lower Tflop count, that you're going to get a lesser console in terms of you're going to get a terrible next-gen experience. No, last time I checked, Sony's devs have proven that you can make the best-looking games ever, honestly, on a technically less powerful console. Just look at The Last of Us Part 2. I guarantee you that's going to be the best looking game this generation, or at least one of them, right? And it's going to be exclusive to the PS4 Pro. So I don't want to hear anything, from people. Now when it comes to third-party devs, that's a mixed bag. You're going to see developers all the time that are able to make games look pretty much just as good on the PS4 Pro as they look on the One X, and occasionally you see one that looks maybe better on the X. But is that a make or break situation for most people? No, it's not. Again, it's an entire package that you have to consider here. And so, I just encourage people, if you're excited for the next gen in general, be excited. There's no reason to go around making people feel as though if you want to buy a PS5, or because we haven't heard anything about the PS5, it's doom and gloom. You're being ridiculous. You really are. And you're going to look really bad. You're going to look really dumb, frankly, when the PS5 news does start flowing, and you're going to see just how excited people are, and you're going to see we're going to find out. We're going to find out just how much power really matters at the end of the day. We're going to find that out, and it's going to be interesting. But if you're somebody who's excited for the Xbox Series, more power to you. You should be. You should be excited about what Microsoft's doing. They're doing a great job. And I'm honestly proud of them with what they're doing with the Xbox Series console. People think that I'm some kind of Xbox hater and I want to see them fail. Not at all. Like, I want to see that competition. I want to see the console market grow. And frankly, it seems that what Microsoft is trying to do with the cutting-edge tech they're putting in the Series console, that tells me they do care. And hopefully that will be propelled even further by some amazing games that they have to announce. We have yet to see that. We're gonna see that hopefully at E3. But come on, guys. Like, let's be real here. Let's have a real conversation. Next gen is exciting, and people who are, trying to scare PlayStation fans and make it and downplay it, like, come on. You're just being toxic. I think you're being toxic, and I think we can all agree that things are going to look pretty good. on both sides. So that does it for the video. Again, I know it was a little bit ranty, but I know a lot of you enjoy these types of videos, and it's been quite a while since we had one like this, but I had some more to say here. So let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it, found it entertaining, or if you agree with what I have to say. And yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.